1982 World Popular Song Festival in Tokyo. Outstanding Song Award plus Best Artist. In the origin story of global superstars, there's always that one moment where the universe stops whispering and starts projecting your name onto a much bigger screen. And for Celine, one of the earliest "The World is Listening Now" milestones lands in 1982 at the World Popular Song Festival, an international contest often associated with the Yamaha Music Foundation and sometimes nicknamed the Oriental Eurovision in pop history circles. It's hard to overstate what that kind of stage meant at the time. Not a local talent night, not a maybe someday, but a high pressure, cross border showcase built for singers who can carry a room and a broadcast. And here comes a young francophone vocalist from Quebec, still early enough in her career that the mythology hadn't calcified yet, walking into a venue and a culture that isn't home and doing the one thing you can't fake, delivering a performance that makes judges, musicians, and audiences agree at once. The specifics that get cited again and again are the kind that make fans sit up straighter because they read like a prophecy. Her song, Tellement j'ai d'amour pour toi, wins the festival's Outstanding Song Award, and she also receives a major performer/musician distinction that sources describe as the Yamaha Symphony Orchestra Award for Best Artist, with some summaries framing the overall result as a gold medal, plus a top performer/musicians award. And that combination matters because it's not just good material, a song award. It's rare instrument, an artist award. It's the difference between this track is strong and this voice is undeniable. If you're telling the story in a way that hooks subscribers and followers, this is the scene to paint in cinematic detail. The distance traveled, the nerves that don't show, the moment the first big notes land clean, and how quickly a room can change when a singer stops sounding like a contestant and starts sounding like a headliner. What makes this win endlessly clickable is that it's pre-legend. Before the English language breakthrough, before the Vegas era spectacle, before the ballads became cultural monuments, there's already proof of the engine. The festival context adds extra sparkle too. Competitions like this are built to compare artists, to measure them against peers from different countries and styles, and to see who can rise above the formatting and the rules. Celine doesn't just rise. She gets stamped with two complimentary validations in the same breath, one for the song, one for the artist, which is exactly the kind of early resume line that later makes people say, oh, that she wasn't discovered so much as she was inevitable. If you're writing this for social content, lean into the emotional contrast that audiences love. The young artist, huge stage tension, the idea of a voice traveling farther than its passport, and that satisfying feeling of watching history happen in the smallest details. Like the way a single award can be the first domino in a chain that ends with world tours, record sales, and icon status. And then you close with the line that sells the follow. This wasn't the beginning of her fame, it was the beginning of the world catching up.
1983, 4 ADISQ Félix Awards at Place des Arts. If the Tokyo win reads like an international flare shot into the sky, then 1983 is the hometown coronation, the year the industry around her effectively says, okay, we get it, she's not promising, she's arrived. At the ADISQ Gala, Quebec's major music industry awards event, Celine wins her first 4 Félix Awards, and that detail is one of those biography staples that keeps showing up because it's such a clean headline: first big gala, 4 trophies. But what turns it from a fun fact into a follower magnet of a story is the shape of those 4 wins. They cover both identity and impact, talent and traction. The commonly cited breakdown is Best New Artist of the Year, Female Vocalist of the Year, Pop Album of the Year for Tellement j'ai d'amour, and Quebec artist achieving the most success outside the province of Quebec. Even if your audience doesn't know the Félix categories by heart, they'll instantly understand the narrative they create when you spell them out in plain language. She's the breakout. She's the voice. She has the record, and she's already traveling beyond her home borders. In other words, it's not a single-lane newcomer win. She's being rewarded like a full ecosystem. And the location gives you a built-in visual anchor. Place des Arts, a major cultural venue in Montreal, the kind of setting that makes a young artist feel the weight of the spotlight because you're standing in a room where careers are measured in decades. For engagement, this is the moment you frame as the switch from people discovering her to people organizing around her. Labels, TV, press, gates opening, expectations rising. It's also a perfect example of why early awards matter beyond the trophy shelf. Awards create permission structures. They tell radio programmers what's safe to play. They tell booking agents what's worth the risk. They tell media outlets who counts as a story. And they tell audiences that if they're not paying attention yet, they might be late to the party. 4 wins in one night is a megaphone that says, you can debate taste, but you can't debate momentum. And because one of the awards explicitly acknowledges success outside Quebec, you can write it as a turning point of geography. The map expands. For fans, that's thrilling because it mirrors the emotional arc of watching someone from your place become everywhere. There's pride in it, but also this delicious suspense. If she's already breaking borders now, what happens when the world truly meets her? The most eye-catching way to present it is to make it feel like a montage. The camera flashes, the name being called again and again, the slight disbelief that turns into composure, and the realization, maybe even in the room, that they're not just celebrating a winner, they're witnessing the early formation of a legacy. And then you land the closer that keeps people scrolling your page. 1982 proved she could win internationally. 1983 proved she could dominate at home. The next step was obvious: the rest of the planet.
1988. Eurovision Song Contest win in Dublin, representing Switzerland. And then comes the moment that plays like pop culture fate. Eurovision 1988. An event with a built-in global audience, a live vote suspense mechanism, and the kind of reputational stamp that can transform an artist's trajectory in a single night. Céline represents Switzerland with Ne partez pas sans moi and finishes first, winning the contest in Dublin. If you want eye-catching, lean hard into why this win is still shared decades later. It's not just that she won, it's how she won. The official Eurovision recap describes one of the most dramatic voting sequences in the contest's history, where Switzerland ultimately beats the runner-up, the United Kingdom, by a single point, a razor-thin margin that instantly makes the story feel like a thriller instead of a statistic. And when you add the points detail, Switzerland winning with 137, you get that deliciously specific number that fans love to repeat because it makes the moment feel real and replayable, like a scoreboard you can still see in your head. Here's where you turn it into a paragraph that attracts followers. You make the reader feel the tension of the format. Eurovision isn't just perform, then applause. It's perform, then wait, then watch your fate get built out loud. It's countries awarding points in real time, leaders changing, hope rising and dipping, and the final minutes stretching until they feel like an hour. So your storytelling can zoom in on the psychology, the discipline required to sing like nothing is at stake while everything is at stake, the post-performance calm that's never actually calm, the weird floating sensation of hearing results you can't control, and that sharp jolt when the votes turn and your name becomes the headline. And because Celine's later career is so massive, the 1988 win carries a special kind of narrative electricity. It's one of those rare pop history moments where the before and after are easy to point to.